What's up, trail fam? Today we're talking about two classics in the game of heavy hauling backcountry backpacks. We're gonna be talking about the Baltoro Deva line from Gregory. If you're looking for something lightweight, ultralight, quick packing, this is not the video for you. And you can take a look right up in this upper right corner right here to check out the video for the Paragon and Maven series. That's definitely gonna be more in that ultralight category. Today is about heavy hauling, long distance, backcountry adventures where you wanna be outside for a long time and you wanna bring every single thing that you need to keep you comfortable. So if that sounds like what you're looking for, stay tuned. All right, so like I said in that intro, why would you choose these packs? You know, these are top load, heavy hauler classics built around Gregory's A3 free float suspension system. You know, we've talked about that a lot in some other videos, but basically when you move, this pack moves with you. It articulates with your hips. You know, it's got that movement right there, really nice. You know, you don't take a perfect flat step every time you go. Your hip goes down one side, down the other side, like this. So the fact that this articulates with that hip is gonna create a lot of comfort and a lot less rubbing for you when you are out putting on those miles with a heavy pack. Along with that free float suspension system, you know, we have this really sticky back panel here. You can kind of see it in the material. There's like, almost like a rubbery, kind of silicone-y feeling in some of these things, and that's so it sticks again and hugs onto your hips, onto your low back, onto your shoulders, and isn't really wobbling around. It's not causing a lot of friction unnecessarily, but again, with that free flow suspension system, it's moving where you move and staying on the same position. It's sitting on the iliac crest, sitting where you want it on your shoulders. So if you're looking for that bag, you know, that has supreme comfortability, durability, this is gonna be that one for sure because of that. So along with that comfortable nature of this pack, you know, you also have a lot of adjustability. The hip belts can go in and out, kind of giving you a range from anywhere from about 15 to a 35-inch torso, depending on if you are looking at the Deva or the Baltoro. You know, these packs range from extra small to extra large when it comes to the torso length and the hip belts. So it's just a very good pack for a wide variety of people. You know, I'm looking at the Baltoro today because that's what I use. I'm a guy. The Baltoro is the men's pack. The Deva is the women's pack. You know, but if you are, you know, anybody with a wider body, you know, more broad shoulders, a larger hip circumference, the Baltoro is for you regardless of if you are a man or a woman, and then vice versa. If you're smaller, if you're really lean, if you're really narrow, if you don't got a lot of muscle or fat on your body and you're just a skinny person, you're gonna wanna check out the Deva regardless, again, if you are a man or a woman, just because of the way they are cut to fit your body. Mark's moving like a slow motion video back there. Hey, you like having fun and backpacking and all that cool stuff? Well, you should probably just hit subscribe because that's what we talk about here. Thanks. With these backpacks, you want to get them fitted correctly because with all of that adjustability, if you have, you know, a torso length that fits into that large, extra large length, but you buy an extra small backpack just because you think you are a skinny or short or like light-weighted person, that might not be the case depending on your torso length, depending on how your shoulders fit the pack. So it's really good to get these things dialed in. So make sure if you're local, if you're in Southeast Michigan, Northwest Ohio, definitely come into the store, but if not, just hit us up on one of our social media platforms and we'll definitely get you dialed in and help you out in any way that we can. Now we're gonna head away from the back of this pack and we're gonna move on to, you know, some of the pockets and the features. So again, right here in this hip belt, we've got the two hip pockets. These things are fairly large hip pockets compared to a lot of packs. You know, they're each about the size of 3 of my hands. So you can fit a ton of snacks, phone, keys, wallet, GPS device, pocket knife, a map. Like literally you could fit all of those things between these two pockets. They're that big. We've got the dual water bottle pockets on the sides here. So you've got those mesh pockets, but then also something nice in the Baltoro and Deva line is you have kind of this hideaway water bottle pocket here. I tossed my Nalgene in here just so you can kind of see what it looks like. So after you take your water bottle out, if you don't need it, you can then like take this thing here and really hide it into the pack. and then you don't need it. You know, you can just use the 2 water bottle pockets, but again, if you are doing a long backcountry adventure, you might want all 3 of these things filled with either your smart water bottles or your tall Nalgene's. So that way you can be hoofing as much water from each water source as you possibly can. And it's good because this thing can take all of that water, up to 50 pounds. This thing carries like a truck, you know, it is just insane. It's so good for heavy carrying capacities. All right, outside of those, we've got the typical top loading backpack entry point here. So you've got that one opening here at the top just to get into the whole middle point of the backpack. So you've got one 65-liter main compartment in the middle, which is separated by the sleeping bag compartment in the bottom. So again, you've got your top loading and your bottom loading entry points here. So you can see I'm all the way through from the top to the bottom of the pack. And again, with most backpacks, you can use this little extra pocket here to either keep your sleeping stuff clean on the bottom, you know, separate from your main gear compartment, or you can just open these little things here and have one big open pocket. But again, if you want to keep your sleeping bag and your socks and maybe your base layers that you're wearing at night down here, just so they're always clean, that's a nice option to have there. And then outside of those entry points, we do have the whole clamshell opening on this pack as well. So if you just want to toss this thing on the ground here, like so, you can open the entire front of this pack as well. So pretty awesome to be able to just like organize all of your gear in its specific spot and not have to be digging around through the top loading backpack. You can literally just set this thing on the ground and get out all of your stuff. You know, it's almost kind of like a duffel bag at this point where you can really keep it organized. So tons of pockets for really dialing in and making sure all of your stuff is exactly where you need it to be. The next zipper we have here is just this kind of sock compartment zipper here and here. They go over and under each other, so you have a ton of space, as well as just that one kind of mesh pocket in the front to shove all of your stuff. All of these features also make this pack a fantastic, you know, Europe, South America, Asia, train hopping, backpacking in the city backpack as well. You know, you could literally live out of this backpack for years and years and years on end if you are living that sort of nomadic lifestyle. You can toss your laptop right here in the back, and you can have all of your gear, all of your clothing that you need. If you're hostel hopping or staying at Airbnbs, you'll be able to consistently do laundry. So if you want to have that one bag, just one backpack on your back, no wheeled stuff, no hip belts, no pockets, anything like that, just all around. If you want everything in this one bag, the Baltoro and the Deva line are fantastic as a travel bag as well, because they can carry so much gear, like literally up to 50, 55 pounds very comfortably. So just really good in the backcountry and on your international travels as well. Okay, so obviously, you know, we know this pack is feature driven from a pocket compartmentalization, storage kind of viewpoint. It's really good for dialing in the sizing and the fit. It hugs nice on your hips for the free float suspension system. Not only is this thing super rich in the feature category, it's also just a burly, durable backpack, coming in with that recycled 210D or 420D face fabric. Again, recycled fabric, so it's good for the environment. But you know, this thing can be just basically drugged down a rocky road, a cement path, through granite cliffs and sandstone corridors, and you're not gonna get a hole in it. But if you do figure out how to get a hole in it, Gregory has a lifetime warranty. And again, that's your lifetime, not the lifetime of the product. So they're one of those companies that really stands behind their gear, and they offer a true lifetime warranty. You know, they have just fantastic materials, TPU coated polyester on the outside. It's nice and waterproof. They've got YKK zippers. You know, those guys make basically 90% of the zippers in the world at this point. So they're making pretty high quality stuff, and just great face fabrics for durability. So again, if you just want one bag that's gonna get it done in every kind of category, the Baltoro and the Deva line are fantastic. So who's this bag for? What are the pros and cons? You know, we'll talk a little bit about that. So the pros of the Baltoro Deva, you know, comfort for serious loads, thanks to that dynamic free flow suspension system, tons of pockets and smart access points. You know, we got the top, bottom, and middle, but these things come with, I think, something ridiculous like 9 different pockets for all of your stuff, plus the capabilities of holding trekking poles and ice sacks, a pair of sandals, anything that you need to really just toss into the front mesh pocket. You're gonna be able to fit the entire kitchen sink into this backpack, you know, as they say. It can really handle anything you're going to throw at it. And that breathable back panel, again, with the materials, that kind of rubber, silicone material that hug you in all of the right places and stay with you, but also articulate with your movement and give you breathability at the same time, is a huge plus. And then again, eco-friendly materials coming with that lifetime guarantee from Gregory. So those are a list of the pros. You know, there are some cons. You know, these backpacks alone weigh about 4 3/4 pounds. So that's heavy in the world of backpacking, especially in a world where we talk a lot about ultralight fast packing these days. But again, if you're looking to carry 50, 55, 60 pounds into the backcountry, if you want to take a cast iron pan out there to cook your fish and you want to hop from watering hole to watering hole, lake to lake, maybe somewhere like the Ruby Mountains in Nevada or somewhere, you know, along the PCT, if you want to do a little bit of trout or salmon fishing along the way, and you want to take a pan and some butter and some salt, you can do that. With this pack, you can do that. You know, that might be crazy, but if you want to bring a chair, if you want to bring a flask full of your favorite liquor and you want to really have some fantastic meals out in the backcountry and be able to prep your food, you can do that with these bags because they can handle the weight and they're still going to be comfortable. So, you know, it's heavy, that's a con, but at the same time, it's also a little bit of a pro. You know, one con, something I am fairly disappointed with in this line in general over the last decade, is they've made a couple changes from, like, you know, 2010 to 2025, kind of in between that timeline, maybe not exactly. But they used to come with a few more things. You know, they used to have a rain fly that came with the pack, and they used to have a cool little day pack that sat on the inside of the top, the brain here. And it used to convert into a day pack, literally with backpacking straps just on the top of that brain. But they did get rid of that. You know, it added a little bit of unnecessary weight. And with these already being so heavy, I believe that's why they got rid of them. And then also, again, if you have a really, really petite frame, you know, these packs might not be for you in general, just because, again, they do have a lot more like heft and beef and weight to them. So you do have to have a little bit of a stronger frame to be able to carry a pack like this just in general. And again, if you are super lightweight, super petite, or you just want to pack fast in general, again, click this link right here for the Paragon Maven video. Another really lightweight backpack that we talked about in this Gregory lineup. So, you know, I've worn this backpack on several hundred miles of trips when I used to get into backpacking a lot more. And I do definitely compare this Baltoro, you know, most closely with the Atmos AG from Osprey. Again, that's Osprey's top dog in the backpack line. This is Gregory's top dog in the backpack line. I find it super comfortable. Again, you know, it is one of my favorite packs that always comes with me longer journeys when I'm looking to just carry everything that I possibly can need. So definitely one of the most comfortable, durable, most popular packs that has ever been created by Gregory. So if that's something that you are interested in and you want to pick one of these two packs up, you can head on over to our website at ridgeandriver.com and use the code YouTube10 for 10% off, you know, not only these backpacks, but anything you buy on the website. Gear is expensive. Save yourself some money, use that code YouTube10 and pick yourself something up today. If you enjoyed this video, or if you have any questions about either one of these packs, please drop a comment down below. We really like to talk with you guys and interact. We love to learn from you. We're really trying to build a community here, and we appreciate all of the interaction that we get here on this YouTube channel. So definitely drop a comment, leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you appreciate all of the content that we've been putting out lately, so that we can continue to do that. Hopefully we'll see you in the store someday, but if not, stay safe out there. Later.